Hello there, how are you? Welcome back to How I Did It. Well, last week we left off with me thinking I had wax moths and I knew I had hive beetles. So today we're going to address that issue. We're going to go ahead and reset the hive beetle trap and just see how the girls are doing with this new screen bottom board. Yeah, I know. Crazy. Flip-flops and shorts.
Okay, so here in a CD case we have borax and oil mixed in with a little bit of honey to draw the hive beetles. We'll put this in the bottom of the hive.
A little trick that Daniel from Barnyard Bees, I get a lot of my bee supply products from him. No, I'm not sponsored. Gave me, and it seemed to have worked in the past. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to use it again. Now, this trick with the sugar water is a great trick if you're not in dearth. And as you'll see later, by me spraying them with the sugar water instead of using the smoke, I ended up creating kind of a robbing attack on the hive. And hopefully, when I go back out later tomorrow, it won't have just wiped this hive out. Refilling with my 1-to-1 sugar water. The girls seem to be doing well. I also have a separate feeding station set up. Alright, and as you can see, I've been pretty liberal with how much of this sugar water that I'm using. And that, I think, is where I made my biggest mistake of the day. Well, not my biggest mistake. Stay tuned. So here I've already moved a couple of frames out.
Get you guys down
The one thing I really want to point out is how passive these Italian bees are. When you're going to buy your bees, they'll ask you what you're looking for, and I cannot say enough good things about how docile these bees are. Yeah, just fantastic, especially for me, total rookie beekeeper. A lot of activity. I'm not sure if the activity was because I had this hive open for so long. I ended up forgetting a couple of things, had to go back down to the barn, walk back out. But overall, they are looking very good and very healthy. Now, as you saw last week when I put this bee stand up, if you'll notice, instead of me sitting these bee frames on the ground, I can just sit it between the 2x4s running to the T-posts. It keeps them up off the ground, which is fantastic. You don't have to worry about dirt and whatnot. The only problem you do have to worry about is the bloody fire ants that are going to end up on your feet because you were a dork and you wore flip-flops out there. I got pretty carried away with the sugar water spray as well. In hindsight, when you're in the dearth season, you definitely need to make sure that you take the time, make up your smoker, and use the smoke to go ahead and settle them back down in there. Really, really looking great. You ever have one of those mornings that you wake up and you just have a case of the Fumbleinas and you're like, you know, I really need to just go back to bed? Well, as you're going to see here in just a couple of minutes, that was pretty much my day. It was in hindsight, it was funny, but when it was going on, oh my goodness gracious. Just picking up a bee that I dropped off that frame onto the ground. Like I said, these girls, oh my goodness, they are just so passive. I'm trying to take really good care about not pinching anybody with that hive tool. And again, if I had my smoker out here, instead of spraying them with the sugar water where it kind of draws them up towards you, yeah, the smoker would have pushed them down where they would have given me room to get in there with my hive tool. I do have to say though, she has a really nice laying pattern, and boy oh boy is this frame loaded up with the nectar and the honey. If you'll notice on this side, it's not as quite that upside down moon shape. Most of the laying pattern is towards the right of the screen, where typically it would be covered in the top and on both sides by nectar and honey. And here, everything seems like it's going okay. Again, spraying it with way too much of that 1-to-1 sugar water. I should have had my smoker out here.
Fire ants, fire ants, fire ants, fire ants. Crazy fire ants.
You know, they say hindsight is 20/20. The more of that sugar water I sprayed, I think the more fire ants that I was drawing out, and the more I was putting a sugar odor in the air, calling in bees to this hive that did not belong here.
I am not seeing the queen yet. Come on. Those fire ants are getting me though.
Yeah, just wait for it.
Dang it.
Had no clue if they were going to get me, so I stepped back about 20
Fire
feet
ants are
from
terrible.
the hive. I had fire ants biting me like crazy on my feet. I should have stopped long before now. And again, way too much of that sugar water.
I need to go put boots and shoes and socks on because they are getting my feet something fierce. Okay, I'm back. Got my boots on, so hopefully those fire ants won't be biting me anymore. Now, let's see if we can find the queen. Actually, let's do...
I'm a dork. While I was up there, I should have grabbed my smoker.
that.
Smoker, smoker, smoker. That's why you have a smoker. That's why beekeepers use a smoker. Do not do like me and use that 1-to-1 sugar water. Especially when you're in a dearth, especially when you're trying to see your queen.
Brood, nectar.
Yeah, and spraying that sugar water on there did nothing but make those frames wet and slippery. And on top of it, they were heavy because they were loaded. I wish somebody would reach through the bloody camera and grab that spray bottle out of my hand. Oh my goodness. Now if you'll notice on this frame, it's pretty sporadic and scattered on her laying. And it's more towards the front of the hive, whereas the nectar and the pollen and the honey are towards the back of the hive. I still haven't been able to figure out why she has that laying pattern. All I know is it's hot out here. My gloves are filling up with sweat. Thank goodness I'm in shorts. Now, as we're starting to wind down on it, you're thinking, all right, she's got this. Took care of the fire ants. What could possibly go wrong?
Wow, this is heavy. Oh, dang it! I just dropped it. Crap! That thing is so heavy.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but if somebody had just smashed your house, I don't think me, would be just flying around buzzing. I think we'd be trying to kick somebody's booty right about now.
Jammed them in. Hopefully I didn't kill my queen or knock my queen off. What the heck?
Now, again, I cannot say enough times, when you are spraying full frames with sugar water to try to keep your bees passive and deterred, you are going to make them wet. You are going to make them slippery. Use your smoke.
Alright. I have totally messed this up. I have no idea where the queen's at. I have got everybody flying all over. I have dropped a ton of these. I'm stepping on them. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, that's just honey. That's empty. They're building that out. Let's do this. Let's put the hive beetle trap in. This is the hive beetle trap. It's got the honey and stuff like I was telling you. They're doing well. I'm not seeing any more signs of wax moths, so maybe they were able to control it with me getting them off the bottom board. Let's sit this down in there.
So making these hive beetle traps, you take an old CD case, break out part of the plastic trim going around it, just big enough for those hive beetles to get through. Mix up your boric acid. You can buy it in your grocery store on your cleaning supplies aisle. Take like a teaspoon of the boric acid, mix some oil, doesn't matter what kind of oil in, just to kind of make it like a paste. You put a couple of dabs in there, one on either side around the center, and then in the center just put a little squirt of honey. What that'll end up doing is luring those hive beetles into that trap, and then the boric acid oil mixture will actually kill the hive beetles. Thank goodness I got this thing put back together. Yeah, I sped it up. And then again, you're going to slide your feeder shim on there, so taking care not to kill any bees. And then because I did put this screen bottom board on, and with me using all that stupid 1-to-1 sugar water, you know, I just kind of opened these girls up to be robbed out. So I'm putting the screen across it. It's just metal screen. Cut it and stapled it in place. That way it keeps the ventilation there for them. It's been 105, 107 plus out. Cut a little opening. It makes it easier for those guard bees to protect the entrance to their hive. And if you'll notice the progression of this, I do have it sped up. The doggone bees all started coming back, and you'll see where they're just really crowding this landing board. It was pretty amazing to watch how they were going to battle. You know, I had bees falling down onto the black tarp and fighting and stinging each other. But it was still amazing to see they did not come after me. So I am just so pleasantly impressed with these Italian bees. I'm not sure if all of them are this way or if it's just a fluke. They said, hey, let's give her these passive bees because she's a dork. Who knows? All I know is that I am very, very grateful that this is done, and we will go out tomorrow and see if we have any bees left in there, any honey left in there, if they ended up getting robbed out. I'm also going to see if I have my queen. No, I am not going to be using 1-to-1 sugar water. I will be using my smoker. Alrighty, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Y'all have a wonderful and blessed day.